This should have volume. And then I can do this.
So it just looks like a blank screen.
Okay, fine. It's probably best.
That's less distracting.
Yeah, because us girls, we like to
You tend to look
I
at
know.
yourself.
Okay.
That would totally
All to
distract
yourself.
me.
I do it.
Yeah.
The webcam, you can see yourself. Just
Uh-huh.
like,
That's right.
oh, I like for webcams, I just get a good picture and then minimize it because it freezes the frame when you minimize it.
Oh,
Like,
that's
I'm done. You can just listen to me now.
right.
I tend to look more at me than
Absolutely.
at the person I'm talking to. 'Cause I'm doing weird mannerisms or something.
Is that for Skype or
Yeah,
what?
Skype or webcam.
Oh, okay.
I've never done that before.
I have
Me either.
to.
I guess that would be a virgin experience if I did it.
My boyfriend's in Alabama, so that's how we see each other.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You want to get started?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So to begin, we were going to ask you if you could give us like your own personal description of Reiki, like what you would tell somebody who didn't know anything about it at all.
Okay. Reiki is universal or spiritual energy. And that's the Ray part of it. The key is within. In other words, the universal or spiritual intelligence out here is going through me, my own being, and then I transmit that energy to someone else. Reiki for me has been a spiritual path for living. It can enhance any belief system or whatever. It doesn't matter what you believe, what path you take, but it's spiritual. It's not religious. It's all spiritual. So, for me, it's been lessons, deeper than normal, depending on how you look at it. Each person has their own viewpoint of their path, their spiritual journey. This has been part of mine, and it's been an awesome one. And I would never, ever trade it for anything in the world. And my life is very rich because of it. Even with the bumps and the roller coasters and being hard and being able to feel how others feel and being able to feel what's going on in the world and how that feels. It's still a very rich life.
Mm-hmm.
What drew you to Reiki? What made you decide to practice it?
Okay. When I was young, I had some, pretty exceptional spiritual gifts where we had like 3 acres of land behind our home, and there was people in the wood, not people, but like little animals in the woods that would come to the house all the time. Like they would be hurt, like squirrels and rabbits and birds and little, woodchucks and different things. Because I grew up in Virginia, and me and my dad would capture them and we would hold them, and especially me, I have to love everything because I just love fuzzy things,
Mm-hmm.
And so from that, as I got older, of course, when you get older, society and your parents take over, and those gifts are kind of shut down for a while till you rediscover who you are again. And about 27, I started on a spiritual path. I started studying all types of paths, all cultures, Native American wisdom, the gambit of everything. And then I started going to Unity Church, and they had these healing services where you put your hands on people, because we all have the natural ability to heal with our hands, just by touching, how we comfort people, just by putting our hands on, like, say, for instance, you're in a situation where you're in a hospital or a funeral home or something like that. You're always, touching somebody to give them comfort, because comfort is a form of healing. It is part of that healing process for someone. And so we had healing services where we would talk, and people would get in a circle, and we would all put our hands on them and say prayers and that kind of stuff. But the energy was so incredible for me that I thought I was going to implode, because it was just so much. It was just, I don't have the words. Sometimes spiritual energy, there's no words that can in the English language that can define that. And then I happened to meet someone that was in the congregation that was a Reiki master. You know, God always sends you to the people that you need to be with and the teachers that you need to go to at the time in your life that needs to happen. And so I started taking Reiki in 2001. And I was such, an avid student and wanted everything and wanted it now, and let's go through the levels. But the natural course of the levels is you take level 1 and you wait 3 months, and then you take level 2, and then you wait 6 months to a year before you become a Reiki master. Well, I went to level 1, and then a month later I went to level 2. And I was glad I did. However, I had some really hard, fast lessons to learn in that short period of time. And I think it was like about a year later, I did go ahead and take level 3 Reiki Master. Once you become a Reiki Master, you can go and do that work. After level 2, you can go and do a practice. You can do the sessions with people. You can do the hands-on sessions with people after level 2. So, but I decided I was going to wait till I became a Reiki Master to do that because I had so much work to do. I had a full-time job besides that, and I worked part-time at church, and so I was really, really busy all the time. And I kept trying to do other spiritual studies, at church and metaphysical studies and all of that. And besides that, I was just trying to shove it all in. I wanted it all.
Did you not sleep?
Not much. I was in a vibratory state most of the time. Almost to the place of levitation, and sometimes that was a possibility. In that dream state where you just you don't know where you are. You're in that state. So, and then a couple of years, I still kept practicing and all, and then I met someone else here in our healing circle that moved in this community here, and she was a Reiki master, and she had some other modalities or forms of Reiki, if you want to call a modality, it's a different form. And so we befriended one another, and she kind of put me under her wing, so to speak, because she'd been doing Reiki a long time, and we started co-teaching together. I would set space and energy and do the leg work, and she'd just come in and teach. And I did that for 2 years at Unity, and we raised money to buy a labyrinth. But that sat there for we raised that money over a 2-year period. We didn't take any money. Mm-hmm. We did all that. We donated all of our time for that. Mm-hmm. And it was later on that we were able to do the labyrinth and everything. So then I got to the point where, I wanted to teach on my own. I was kind of, getting comfortable with the material and everything. And I decided I wanted to teach, but I wasn't confident enough about the teaching. And it was kind of like, the teacher always knows when you're right on the edge, and they just kind of push you into the abyss. Mm-hmm. Sink or swim.
That's the best way to learn.
It is. And not only that, when you teach, for me, what I learned was how to teach the levels, because my level of understanding had already surpassed that. But how do I break it down to those levels for each individual in that class, that they understand it, because everybody has different ways of learning. Mm-hmm. And to make it fun, because to me, if a class is not fun, well, why take it, right? You have to have some fun in a class, even if it's just a minute amount. Because for me, it's an extra learning tool. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have a question on that. What is labyrinth?
A labyrinth? A labyrinth is a meditative path for walking. It looks similar to a maze. The difference between a maze and a labyrinth: a maze, you have dead ends and false leads, whereas a labyrinth has a path that goes all the way in, and the path goes all the way out.
Okay.
It's like a meditative walk, a metaphor for living. You can go in there with maybe problems or challenges that you have in your life, and you can go in asking for answers, and you can lay those down, and when you get to the center, you could take time to reflect on that, or to pray, or whatever your choice is, and to allow the answers to come. Now, the answers may come as you're coming out because you're open and receptive, or they may come later. It may be in your dream time in the ways that you understand, or it may be in understanding at a later time, even through other individuals.
So it's the process of the work of the learning.
Correct.
Okay. So it's not necessarily a physical walk.
Yes, it is a physical
It
walk.
is a physical walk.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, there's different types of labyrinths. There's different patterns that you can walk. The pattern that we have is a petite, which is a miniature chart, which is the chart pattern that's on a larger scale in the Chartres Cathedral in France.
Okay.
So labyrinths have been on caves and have been used for millennia.
So y'all physically went there
and walked it.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. We have a canvas one at church that we put in the sanctuary, so we can do that. And I'm a facilitator. I'm a trained facilitator for it as well. And it holds an energy with it. You know, it's a spiritual energy within that in that walk.
Interesting.
You said you started Reiki in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start teaching and having your own practice?
Well, I started doing my own practice probably about 2003, just doing sessions on people. And I co-taught. I started co-teaching in 2004 to about 2006, early 2007. And from 2007, 8 was about the time I started doing it by myself. I started teaching on my own by myself. So I've been teaching probably around 3 good years, maybe a little bit longer. So I'm still fairly what they call young.
Yeah.
In spirit.
In spirit. Exactly.
Well, you've already shared a lot of your journey. Can you just tell us small facts about like where you're from?
Where I'm from.
Where you were born.
Okay, I was born in Richmond, Virginia. I grew up in a small college town called Ashland, Virginia, where Randolph-Macon College is. We moved here to Louisiana with my father and my mother in 1969. He was transferred here. He was working for a mobile company, and it turned to Swift & Company, and it was a chemical plant, but it was a fertilizer plant. And so I stayed here in Louisiana until 1977, and I moved back to Virginia, and I started working in the banking industry because I went for accounting. I was also in music, and I went in accounting, and I went to college at night, and I worked, and I took accounting and business administration and business math. And then in February 1986, when right after the bottom of the oil industry fell out here, I moved back here. And I've been back here ever since. And something about the people and the food, I just cannot leave.
That's good.
It's the camaraderie and the friendship and having a good time and sitting around and talking and eating and I just love that, you know. I just love it.
Who was your mentor?
Who is my mentor? Oh, I have many. My first mentor, my very first mentor before I started taking Reiki, was a woman named Reverend Jan Mahana-Moscas. And she was our minister over there. I came to Unity Church, and about 2 weeks